Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails, a Grand Arena story. Got a good one for you today, guys. I have unlocked Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. He is Relic 7, he is ready to go, and I saved him for offense. So you get to see that in a little bit, but first I do want to shout out my patrons. You guys are amazing, and I really appreciate all of the support that you guys provide for me. And I truly do not know why I decided to go sing-song there, but I think we can agree that nobody enjoyed it. So I'm facing a dude named Toshaki, or Tushaki. It's kind of like the feedback that Luke would have given Palpy if Palpatine had asked him how his lightning was. And this guy has a really great roster in some respects. You can see his relics way better than mine in every category. Just completely destroys me. But the thing that really wrecks me is, look at his gear 13. I put a little line graphic there. He has 35 more gear 13 characters than I do. That is a huge advantage, and the only real advantages that I have a slight advantage in mods, and I do have 30 some more Zetas than him. Looking at our total lifetime scores, I do have more lifetime banners than my opponent by a pretty significant margin, but he's also been winning a ton lately, so I can't really count on that to save me. Now, you can see the board here. I did put a lot of really strong teams on defense, including General Skywalker and Darth Revan. I'll go into my defenses a little bit later, though. I do want to talk about that a little more toward the end. So, looking at these defenses, I know I just copy-pasted them, and my buddy Solo, who saw them on the Discord that I posted them on, was like, wow, that's a lot of relics. And I agree. There was a lot to deal with. So let's go over just a little bit of my decision-making process here. I need to clear the bottom zone. Obviously, I need to clear both zones and both back zones as well. Surprise. But there were a couple things I needed to take in consideration. Now, my opponent has had a history of putting General Skywalker on defense, so I needed to save my Supreme Leader Kylo for General Skywalker. That's kind of why I brought him, also just because he's a new toy and he's fun. And it's boring to put him on defense. I'm going to put him on defense eventually, but I don't have to yet. So I decided initially I wanted to take Qi'ra against General Grievous. That's a pretty easy, obvious one. Bastila, Qi'ra, Emperor Palpatine lead. It's great. And Rey can take on this Timeout team with Qi'ra, even though they have a lot of relics. It's really not a problem for that team. Now, after looking at these pairings for a little bit, I decided I didn't really have a great answer for this Kylo Ren, really high relic, First Order team with Hux, and I wasn't sure if my Night Sisters would have enough damage to beat them, and I realized I could just take my Palpatine Sith squad and beat Kylo Ren, and then just use Night Sisters to take out the General Grievous squad. And so that's kind of the path that I took. The first real obvious one, though, I wanted to use Jedi Training Rey here. I did think about using Troopers a little bit, but this is a little bit trickier just because there's so high relics. I think I could probably have succeeded here. You can focus Baze down if no one else, and then Qi'ra could go. But I just wasn't all the way sure, especially with all of the AoEs and everything. L3 would be dispelling things, so I went with Jedi Training Rey here, and there's really not going to be an issue here. Like, they can't hurt me. They can't actually take banners from me, really, not much, just because I have so much protection regeneration in the form of New Finn and Old Finn and BB-8, all of them have that. So what I'm trying to do here, normally I go for Vander. I decided that I didn't really care that much. Right away, he didn't have his prepared, so we couldn't revive anyone. Decided to take out Qi'ra just because she's the one who can really cause some headaches later down the line, and as long as she wasn't going to be revived after I killed her, then I figured I may as well take her out. Vander Chewbacca took a lot to take down, actually. He's pretty tanky at Relic. What was he, 5 or 6? Really strong there. I'm really jealous. I wish mine was that good. After he's gone, now you see I keep just doing mind tricks on L3, and it's not because she's weak-minded. I don't know if she's weak-minded. She tricked grown man into bed with her, so I would say not. But we still want to use the mind trick on her because we don't want to hit her because she's going to dispel other scoundrels. Every time you hit her, she either dispels all debuffs on herself or on a scoundrel. And so we'll just leave her for last. We also don't want her taking turns and adding more crit avoid because she can be really tough to take out once she gets all of her different levels of buffs and everything that she can provide herself. So the best way to manage L3 is just to do mind tricks on her if you have Rey and just never let her take a turn. Every time I had an opportunity now, I was passing my turns from New Finn. He can shoot his first special and provide a bunch of turn meter to one character, and so I always just gave it to BB-8 so that he could do Illuminated Destiny, and I got 60 banners. This was a pretty easy one, preordained by God that I would just annihilate them, so glad that I did that. Now, I decided I needed to know how I would do against Grievous because that might shape things a little bit if I failed here. So taking Night Sisters against this pretty really well modded and really high relic droid team, and this is a standard droid team. It doesn't have Watt or BB-8, and that's totally fine. We're really, I mean, you guys have seen me do this before. This is always the scariest battle that I'm ever in because General Grievous is just a total lunatic. He can just kill your whole team so fast, and the only way that you can actually survive and have a chance here is every time a character dies, old Daka gains 10% health, and she's at like 128k or something health right now. So she's at a really high health level, but you see she's halfway gone right now. She's not doing too well. So we need to find a way to heal her when we can, because if she gets taken out, then there's a slight chance we can revive using Talzin's lead, but it's going to be pretty ugly. So here we're just trying to take out B2 first, because we don't want him to take extra turns. And I've actually gotten pretty far without losing anyone permanently, which is surprising, especially given the level of modding and just how strong this squad is. So Grievous finally did do an AoE that killed a couple guys. That's fine. Old Daka jumped right in and revived everyone. And then we're just trying to kill one droid at a time to avoid like a cascading effect. We don't want to kill one droid, then immediately kill another droid like right after that before we could have time to reset. And you know, that's kind of what happened here. We killed one, and then old Daka couldn't even revive everyone before he was able to get another turn from me killing Magna Guard. So it eventually didn't matter as much. Old Daka survived the onslaught, and now it's all over. As long as we can get a stun on Grievous, which we can, he can't dispel it because of Plague, and we can just finish him. And 55 banners is all we could ever hope for in this match, but I consider it a pretty good trade. This is a meta team, and it's a high relic one, and I only had to trade Night Sisters for it. So we got the first shot win here, and now I went into work, and when I came back out of work, my opponent had attacked, and I'll just show you one screenshot. They had tried 5 times on my Jedi Revan team and failed. I was convinced that they would not be able to clear me, so that was great. All I really needed to do here to get the win, which we're going for the full clear win, but all we need to do is get an efficient clear on all the squads but one in the back. So we're going to try taking out this Hux team and or this Kylo Ren with Hux team. And have you ever had one of those moments where you're like thinking about something else, like work things or whatever, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna be doing this thing, and you're trying to focus on both, and it's not working, and so you end up making some poor choices, not intentionally, like, but they're just against your normal plan. Like you can see, I'm kind of confused. I'm just bemused. There's something that's going on with work, and I'm trying to figure out what I should do here, how I should go about this fight. And so I had Vader for some reason, and you'll notice that I don't have Palpatine in there or Bastila. I have Thrawn. This is not the team you're looking for. This was totally contrary to my plans, and it's my own fault. I was distracted, but this is not the team I wanted. I figured I still had a pretty good chance. Trail lead is good, and immediately, though, they decided to take it to Nihilus and killed him. And so immediately my win condition kind of left. It was going to be really tough. So I'm making this a little bit faster so you can see. I need to make the best of it. If I can, I can take out a few of these guys at least first. And I doubted that I could kill the 2 Kylos because they have so much good regeneration and everything. But at least I could hopefully kill other guys. The order that you kill guys in this squad is probably just going to be red if you can, so that he doesn't, if you kill other guys, red doesn't just go nuts and kill your whole team. After you kill red, then Hux is the obvious candidate, though he is actually really tough to kill. He kept regenerating his health like crazy. I don't have a ton of damage on this team, but the damage that I do have is not totally insignificant, and he just kept hanging on. So finally did end up killing him, and then decided, man, if I could kill Executioner too, that would be great before I time out. Try to get some kind of a Pyrrhic victory, make it easier for myself later. And so that's what I went for. Tried to go for Executioner. I did put Isolate on Kylo Ren the entire time. Kylo Ren unmasked, I should say, because he is, I don't want his taunt to get in the way of me killing people. And, if I had had Nihilus by now, one of the Rens would just be dead. But Nihilus died in the first 10 seconds, so that didn't necessarily work out in my favor. So now I'm just trying to work some damage in before I time out. And, I'm actually doing some okay work here, and honestly, I got a good throw in with Vader, I got a good throw in with Traya, and I figured maybe, man, right, we've got 6 seconds left, maybe we can just take him out, and we did, so that was neat. I lost, but I killed everyone but Kylo, so that's something. Alright, so not necessarily a disaster here, losing to that team. I mean, it was a disaster in the sense that, like, I could have beat him so easily with Palpatine and Bastila and trio, like, so easily. And it's so frustrating that I let that happen. No one else to blame but myself, of course. I know that you guys don't prefer to watch me just blunder around. There's plenty of other videos of people blundering around for you guys to watch, but it does happen to me, happens to everyone, and unfortunately, fortunately I should say, I was able to make the best out of the situation. So now we're just trying to clean up Kylo Ren, and I didn't want to use anything too important for the back. I needed to keep most of my First Order team intact to be able to use with my Kylo team, Supreme Overlord or whatever, Kylo. So I went with Palpatine because Palpatine's shocks will deny healing, and so that that's the goal here, is to get as little damage done to me as possible. Lots of ability block and everything I was hoping for, and 38 banners, I guess I'll take it. Given the circumstances. So I did clear this zone. I was hoping my opponent had been wise and not taken Skywalker. However, he absolutely had put Skywalker on defense, and now we need to figure out how we're going to allocate the rest of our resources and squads. So the whole reason I had taken my Supreme Kylo into this fight was to kill General Skywalker. I wanted to show everyone how I could do it. And then I realized that my Malak was on defense, and I need Malak to be able to kill Skywalker. I haven't found a team yet that doesn't involve Malak for that. And so I'd also, in Arena, I tested it a few times, and I couldn't even, sometimes I would kill a bunch of clones and it'd just be Anakin, and sometimes I would kill 0 of anything and I would lose. So that wasn't going to work. I decided to take my Commander Luke team, which is fine as a counter for General Skywalker, just not as reliable as I would prefer. And then Padme against Night Sisters seemed like it made a lot of sense, and then we could go from there. I did like that there was pretty weak Ewoks in the back too. I haven't been able to slay Ewoks for a while. I checked his speed randomly just because I wanted to. I don't necessarily have any rules of thumb for my Commander Luke to counter General Skywalker. There's a lot of variables, but I decided to take this version of the team and not take Watt or Stormtrooper Han, because Stormtrooper Han would be fine, but I wanted Watt available for Kylo Ren's team, Kylo Ren Unmasked's team, if I needed it. So here, you don't go for Rex or, shoot Arc or anything right away with this comp. You just want to go straight for the teeth against General Skywalker, so Han shoots him twice. Commander Luke, I don't use my stance change initially, just because later is going to be more helpful when I'm actually trying to topple. Sometimes I can do a stance change, and Chewie will just hit Anakin before he can, and he'll be unable to hit back if I do that, because he goes down from an assist. Now, my first shot with Han, I always save my special to be able to stun fives, and so I did that, and I managed to just take him down without much hassle. And now there's only 2 clones left, and if we can, it would be great. It would be so great if we could just take these clones out before the topple is over with. But you just never know. So they were actually modded without much defense, honestly. So happy enough with that, of course. Old Ben eventually did die, which is fine, but we have a pretty good situation here. And 3PO, I'm just looking for who to put translation on. It didn't end up mattering. I got 57. That's the idealized version of the Commander Luke counter. That's almost never going to go that smooth, but it did go that smooth this time, and I am not going to complain. If I had failed, I would have probably taken my Kylo Ren team with Watt in to clean up. Maybe it would have worked. I don't know. But either way, I didn't need to clear that Skywalker team to win. I needed it to get a full clear. So now we have this Night Sisters fight with. We're just taking Padme and the Togrutas. That's pretty standard here. I don't have 3PO available because I used him with the Luke team, which is a worthy effort. And one factor that I haven't mentioned yet is there's a feat currently that is happening where I need to get kills with a fleet admiral. It can be Hux, it could be Holdo, it could be Akbar, God forbid. There's all kinds of options, but none of them are really that great for killing, for finishing characters off. And so I decided here, this was an opportunity. If I had enough time, this was only an Asajj lead, so it wasn't going to be super dangerous. If it was Talzin lead, it was going to be more scary. But because it's an Asajj lead, if I could kill Talzin and Asajj and Daka and then just kill Zombie over and over again, then that would be perfect. That would be great. Kenobi, I have to get 12 kills. I've gotten 0 so far. I've had a full week. This is the second week that it's up. So as many times as I can finish a character off, that would be great. And so you saw that I left Talzin there with just a small amount of health so that eventually Kenobi could come in and just take her out. And so he did. That was kind of risky. I probably should have just finished her off, but as it stands, I'm just trying to finish those 3 off as best I can without getting all kinds of revives. I was leaving low health characters for Kenobi to finish off, so he's gotten 2 kills so far. That's wonderful. And now if we can just take out Asajj, then we'll be good to go, and we can just butcher Zombie relentlessly until Kenobi has his feat completed. One thing that I was trying to do as well that I'll point out is sometimes you want to hit Spirit when she has Foresight up, just to dispel that foresight and make her do less damage. You don't want Spirit getting a ton of damage going on, because she can. I've seen it. I've seen screenshots of my own Spirit one-shotting Kenobi before. So just got to be careful at the higher relics, which this one is like relic 4. So anyways, I'm speeding it up because now it's just another 2 minutes of slaughtering zombie and making sure that I have enough time to actually win the fight. I don't want to time out here by getting kills. So as many as I can do, I'm also swinging at Spirit sometimes to get rid of the foresight, and also if zombie's health is low, I'm swinging at Spirit so I don't finish zombie off, and just hoping that Kenobi gets another turn and is able to finish her off. So this is a pretty tried and true method of getting your feats in, trying to kill Night Sisters, and luckily my opponents have been placing Night Sisters. Eventually, I hadn't really kept track of how many I'd killed, but at 30 seconds-ish, I decided to pull the plug. 57 banners is pretty good. Honestly, I was expecting 55, but I did go and check my feat. I got 10 out of 12 kills, so that's pretty good. And now we can get to the final here, and there's this really high relic bounty hunters team with a really high relic nest, and it is so fast and brutal, and I did not want to have to deal with that nonsense. So decided to take my Supreme Leader here, because all that's left is Ewoks after this. So this is such a pain in the butt comp to take on, and you can see I wanted to see how Supreme Leader could do. I know I probably could have undersized it, but first time in Grand Arena, I just wanted to take a full squad. So started with an irresistible hit again, or stun against Nest, and then this happened.
And his name is John C.
I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool. Probably a huge waste of resources, but cool nonetheless.
And his name is John C.
And if you don't get the John Cena reference, I kind of envy you, honestly. So I did get the full clear on the top, and now we need to see what ships are in the back. Then we have Ewoks left and Negotiator at 5 stars without Houndstooth. I was feeling pretty confident. Hopefully I could get the win here. I decided to do a strange thing for me. It was completely out of order, but I wanted to just take on this Negotiator right away. Honestly, there wasn't much suspense about the Ewoks. I have destroyed Ewoks many times with many different squads, and I had a lot of those squads remaining. Honestly, it doesn't take much, especially the way he had them modded, not fast. So we have this Negotiator, and that there is a threat here. We want to make sure we can get the win because the timing is all off. Normally, in my arena, everyone has 7-star Negotiator, and so the Negotiators, I can kind of count on when they're going to use their specials, and that's not the case. I outspeed their Negotiator by such a significant margin now that I can't really predict where the Negotiator, when it's going to go. I can predict that I'm going to get my AoE off before the Negotiator goes, but otherwise I just don't know. So I was able to get the buff off on, or rather I was able to force the buff onto the fleet, which is what you want. And now I was debating, like Klesso recently told me, after I admitted that he had been right about a thing, he told me, actually I think that Plo coming in first is best. So I thought that was funny, but decided to take 5s anyways because I could get target lock on 3 characters, get some good damage in, and now we're just kind of in a holding pattern. Got to get through Clone Sergeant. Unfortunately, Ahsoka couldn't last and she got taken out, but in return I got their Anakin, which is kind of the death knell to these fleets. If Anakin's not there, just causing mayhem and hiding behind the other characters taunting, then if he's not there, it's pretty easy. You know, a negotiator without Anakin it's not really a good fleet. He's in a lot of ways, it's like an Akbar fleet without the Millennium Falcon. You know, he's the linchpin. He's the real power behind it. Negotiator is probably just an overall better ship than the Millennium Falcon or than Home One, but anyways, we're just finishing them off. There's not a ton of rhyme or reason to this, just targets of opportunity as they arise, and eventually 61 banners. That's pretty good. Anywhere above 60, in my opinion, in fleets, that's fine. You can spare yourself from the kicking that you can do to yourself mentally sometimes. And now all that's left between me and total victory. Well, I've already won. Actually, if you saw the score, I've already won by a considerable margin, assuming he can't clear my Jedi Revan. But I did sit here and I did check all of their speeds just to make sure. My Stark is really fast though. He's at 325 speed before the Veers buff, so 345 speed. As long as he outspeeds Paplu, usually Paplu's the one that you want to check the speed for, as long as he's faster than Ewoks though, as faster than all of them. It's so easy. This is the easiest match in the world, and the furballs got mowed down in short order for 60 banners, which meant that I got a full clear. I did get a failed attack, so my score wasn't the best, but over 1900, I mean, it's okay. That's fine. Probably already takes me out of contention for top 10, you know, that which is frustrating, but I did manage to get the win here at least, regardless of if he could clear me. So he did struggle against my General Skywalker without his own. He took 3 teams to get through it, took out my Darth Revan team in one shot. And, you know, one thing I want to point out here is I took my Supreme Leader Kylo because I don't have any GAC history covering it, and I figured that my opponent would just assume I'd put him on defense, and therefore, I mean, he didn't have a team that could beat Supreme Leader Kylo other than General Skywalker. And so he apparently just didn't scout me. He just placed his same old defenses. These are the exact same as has been in his history, which is fine, I guess. But I had assumed that if he had taken Skywalker, he would maybe have not used his own Skywalker on mine, because he would probably be waiting to try to take out my Supreme Kylo in the back with it. So that was kind of my plan. Obviously, I can't account for him not scouting me, and so that happens, but he did pay the price. He took 3 teams to get through, and I'm sure he was dreading the back zone. If I had Supreme Leader Kylo as it stood, I had a good enough squad anyways. All the teams on the top got one shot. That's fine. You'll see that Nest is back in action, and Bounty Hunters are still hanging out. My fleet's been doing pretty good. I keep getting at least one reinforcement in, keep stealing banners, so Malevolence is good for that. And in the back here, Jedi Revan got 5 holds and barely got scratched, so kind of nice. Who knows what he killed Geonosians with? Could be anything. But in the end, I did apply speed up to my characters 24 times randomly, and I did get the feat of using 2 TIE Fighter pilots because I had 2 of the Kylos in the same squad, and I got a win with them. And you can see my other feats, nothing really that interesting. I do have a ton of them to turn in, so I don't have the highest arena ranking right now, or rather, I don't have the highest Grand Arena ranking compared to everyone else yet, right now, even though I'm undefeated. I'm at 4-0, but I just don't have it because I don't have all my feats turned in, and that's fine. I can wait. I'm being patient, and I should be able to get a ton of them in our next fight, hopefully. So anyways, I think I'm going to leave you guys here. I would appreciate a like if you guys so chose. I appreciate you guys listening and watching. And I'm getting a new computer soon, so the format's going to change. This might be the last of this format. My next video might actually just be on my phone as I'm putting my computer together. We'll see. But either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.